Thank you for your infinite love, guidance, and protection, Spirit. Please use me as a conduit of light to deliver this message to whoever needs to hear it. Break the soul contract. Some bonds are meant for growth, not forever. When the lesson ends, the contract dissolves. Restore the broken self. Parts of you were left behind in pain. Call them home. You are ready to become whole again. Wow. So what I'm seeing here is that you were in some type of soul contract and you're finally to that breaking point where you're ready to cut ties completely. Maybe you thought you had before, maybe you've attempted to before, but you haven't quite, got to that space where you have freely walked away from what wasn't serving you. And just like the following card says, restore the broken self, which means a lot of your broken self is what you affiliated with that old timeline, with those old soul contracts. And that broken self is no longer who you've grown into, who you've healed into, who you've expanded into. And Spirit's really saying, like, now that we finally breaking off these old soul contracts, and it's not just with people, it's with your patterns, it's with those cycles, it's with those attachments to maybe even like different parts of your identity. Like if you were an athlete, maybe you were attached to that identity. So after you were an athlete, you became a coach. And what if it all was going to be taken away from you? Then would you be depressed? Who would you be? Your whole identity would be stripped from you. So there would be some type of dark night of the soul that would probably follow you, right? And that's just one example, but your identity can embody anything. Your identity could be the stories that you tell around your own trauma. Right? So these soul attachments, we want to think it's just some cord between us and another individual, but it's so much deeper than that. It's the generational curses. Those are the contracts that you unconsciously signed on to when you agreed to come in and play this character in order to help the collective evolve in mass and heal in mass. You said, I'll take this on and I will, expand and break these soul contracts in order for the highest good of all, not just my own individual soul. So Spirit's really saying we're going to restore the broken self. We're going to come through and we're going to shine a light in all those dark places that we didn't want to look before, that our parents and grandparents didn't want to look at and didn't even really have consciousness of, right? A lot of people are just going in their patterns and they're not even conscious of what they're doing, which is where they're at on their journey. And that's okay. And we have to learn to kind of let go and allow people be who they are too, because this isn't for the faint of heart, and every soul is on a different journey. Every soul is in a different part of their expansion experience, like you could be so much more advanced of a soul than maybe your parents, right? And then if you have children, and I've noticed this with my own children, your children could be a more advanced soul than you, and like tame that ego, right? Like let your children humble you. All right, veil of illusion. Lift the veils of illusion, seeking truth beneath the surface to navigate through love and career authentically. So truly recognize, and that's what I was just speaking on, how we have to actually be conscious of our looping and our patterns and what might be holding us back from stepping onto that higher path, that path that we actually want, desire, and deserve based off of the work that we've done individually on a healing level. This is like truly letting go. Finally, like that, this past new moon that just recently came, this was so transformative. Like I still feel it in the air. I still feel people like holding on for dear life. And I think that's why Spirit has really brought that energy through. Like just let go and like allow this new timeline to come online. let go of the old timeline. Like, you're holding on to something that's disintegrating, right? And so, like, that's what Spirit's saying. Like, what we really need to do is, now that we know what that frequency is, what that new timeline frequency is, we're consciously and intentionally making decisions from that energy. We have to really root down and ground it in. Ground that new timeline into your reality so it doesn't feel so shaky. It doesn't feel so wobbly. We need to root in those decisions. We need to rewire our brains so that's that default frequency. That's that default response to life. It's coming from a higher, more connected space, a space where you're trusting the universe and knowing that everything's always working out for you and it's all falling into place. Now, there's no room for doubt because you already know if it looks negative, it's not. There is a silver lining, and you just have to be on the frequency to see it and to actually be appreciative of it. And Spirit's bringing in opportunities for you, and those opportunities come in when you let go of the old timeline. Because you create the space for it. It's like, how do you have the space in your energetic field if you're focusing it on drama, if you're focusing it on this codependent attachment to the job that you have because you're worried if you leave, you might not have, like, I don't know, health insurance or something. That is like something a lot of people worry about. And to me, it's just like, we feel so limited because no one really ever taught us how to navigate this reality in an energetic way. We feel so limited. We feel like things aren't possible. Like, there's only one avenue to go. And if you didn't go on that avenue, you're a failure, or it's going to be really hard and you're not going to be able to do it. You don't have the confidence. You've never seen somebody do it. You've never done it yourself. You ever notice when you haven't done something before, it's a little nerve-wracking, right? But then you do it one time and you're like, oh, wow, this isn't so bad. I'm like that sometimes when I go places, right? I'll be all nervous about, like, what's the parking situation going to be? Because I'm just like, we're like that because my dad was like that, right? And I'm like, and I'll be overthinking, like, what it's going to be, trying to prepare myself in my mind. And then once I get there, I'm completely fine. Everything goes smoothly, right? It's like, why was I even worried about this? And even if I get there and the parking situation is kind of like packed or something like that, it's like I always calmly work it out. So it's never a big deal. So I'm like giving myself anxiety before I do things for no reason, right? It's the same scenario. We've never been on this new timeline. We've never done it before. So yes, it's scary, but once you step into it, you're like, why the heck was I making this such a big deal to change, to get out of my comfort zone? Because now that I'm out of my comfort zone and I'm flowing with the universe, it feels really good. And opportunities are here because I've allowed myself to get out of my comfort zone, to stop choosing the same old day after day, right? I'm living the same day. It's like the Truman Show. You just keep living the same day in the program, day after day. And then at some point, you got to be like, wait, this is it? No, it's not it. That is not the life that your soul came in for, to fit in some box that everybody else is in. That isn't it, guys. It'll never be that, you know? And that's a beautiful thing. When you identify that you're this unique soul that came in here for a specific purpose, and it's not the same as anyone else's. Nobody else's. Maybe on the surface level it might look the same because you have the same career or something, but they aren't you and you aren't them. And you're not trying to read off a script. You're being your authentic self, and you're coming forward in a different light. You bring a different kind of swag to it. You know what I mean? Like, you are you. So embrace that. Don't try to be like anyone else. And I'm like that. Like, that's what I tell my kids. Like, it's lame to be like other people. Be you. It's beautiful to be different and to have specific interests, and it's because of your unique soul blueprint. Like, you've lived so many different lives, and you bring that into this character that you choose to play in order to expand in this life, right? And so be that, you know, like, stop wearing all the same stuff as everybody else is wearing. Wear what feels good to you. And sometimes, like, I mean, in the beginning, most people are so programmed, they don't know what that is. And it takes peeling back the layers to discover that. It truly does. I look back at like pictures from a couple decades ago, 15, 20 years ago of me in like my early 20s, and oh my God, who is that person? Who is that person? You know, like I know who I am now, and I embody who I am now. So it's funny to look back when I was more programmed, right? Shrewdness and resourcefulness, especially in business. So maybe if you're first starting out and you haven't like manifested the big bucks to put a lot of your, whatever your operation is on this new timeline into play, maybe it's moving to a new place. Maybe it's a new job or a new business that you're creating yourself. If you're resourceful and if you're smart, it can all come together in a beautiful way because you're co-creating with the universe. So it might not look like this big, huge business loan that you got approved for. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But if it's not, that's okay, because if you co-create with the universe can help you bring together like a smooth running operation if you're resourceful, if you're smart, if you're like willing to surrender and do the trust fall and really flow with what opportunities are being presented to you. Because spirit is presenting those opportunities, but it does take courage, guys. It does take getting out of your comfort zone and like embodying this energy of like whatever it takes. But I have this undeniable faith that I am being divinely led. So if something doesn't work out, it wasn't supposed to, because something better is going to work out, right? And it's just staying in that energy of like, nothing can rock me. Nothing's going to rock who I am or my connection to spirit and my undenying faith that I will always be intuitively and divinely led. And then just flowing. Taking it one moment at a time, not putting a lot of pressure on yourself. If you have a day where you feel a little off, honoring that. You know what? I don't think anyone's supposed to come out of that deck. Ooh, that one popped right out. I let myself grieve and the light gently enters. We're grieving that old timeline. That old timeline is hard. It's been hard. And you know what? I see it in this gentleman's face here where you're cutting the soul ties. It is hard. It's hard when you've been connected to certain things, people, careers, situations, environments for a really long time. And, you know, like there's a grief in letting go of an old timeline. There's a grief of letting go of an old identity. Like I use the athlete as an example, like letting go of all of the admiration and validation you might have got by being an athlete, you know. I went through a grief process when I stopped playing basketball in college. Like that was like, I remember I would have nightmares and stuff about it, just about like go into the game and they already started the game without me. But then they're like, wait, you're not on the team anymore. Like weird dreams like that. Like it was a dark night. And that's probably why I use that example, because I can relate to it. But there is a grief to, shedding old timelines. There is a grief to it, but that's okay, because just like this card says, I let myself grieve and the light gently enters. And you know what that light is? It's that new timeline coming in to show you the reason you had to let go, because there's better things here now. There are better things to come, and there's a lot of creative energy coming in as you're letting go and creating space for the new, because there's space to create. It's like that blank sheet palette, right? That blank canvas, I mean. The palette's where the paint goes, right? The blank canvas of your new timeline. And when you let go of the old timeline, that's what happens. It's like it just erases the canvas, and you start fresh and you get to decide. So that creative energy comes in, and that's exciting. And it's like after you get over the grief process and you start being brave enough to come out of your comfort zone, and that creative energy comes in, you're like, whoa, like I could do stuff now. Like this is kind of exciting. And then you kind of let go and flow with spirit and co-create with the universe in order to really physically manifest this timeline in real life. And aren't we ready for that? We've been shedding and peeling back the layers for years and years, guys. Like it's time for that dharma to come through, for that good karma, for that love, that joy, that abundance. And you know what? It was there the whole time because it's a frequency, but I do believe everything is in divine timing. And you don't want to just hop from one timeline to the next. It really is a gradual process. Otherwise, it's a shock to the system. You don't want that. You do not want that. You want a gradual process. You want a gradual Kundalini awakening. You do not want a spontaneous one. So just embrace that and be grateful for it. And if you're conscious of it, it's easier to stay in a grateful heart. And that grateful heart will absolutely be such a more comfortable place to receive when divine timing does align for you. And it aligns in even more. I do believe that it's not like, well, this date, this is going to happen. That's what divine timing is. No, it's like when all the energies can really flow in together and it works, right? And once it's ready and it works, like we don't get to decide when that is. It's when the energies just work together. And, but the more that we put our energy into this beautiful positive light, which is the card that just came out as I was shuffling there, that is just going to generate more energy in that direction. It's just going to create more fireworks when it is time, right? And it says positive, maintain your freedom and independence. Good luck will slowly approach you. The fish spirit. It's a little beta fish. And you know what's so funny? The beta fish, they have to be in a tank by themselves because they beat the crap out of each other, right? Then one will literally dominate for territory and eat the other one. I'm pretty sure that's how it works with beta fish. But they're solo, right? They're solo. And then that's kind of how you have to be when you're healing. You're like in this cocoon phase where you need to let go of everything. You need to shed everything and then you need to process. And then that integration comes. And then you start rewiring your brain as you integrate these new lessons you've learned. You're like, okay, I know how I can expand and be a better person in this area of my life. I know how I can expand in this area of my life. And then you start becoming this better person. That's the integration process. And now you've rewired your brain where your default frequency is this higher frequency, is this new timeline. It's on that frequency. So then you start actually physically manifesting into your life. And that is what's happening right now. And we just have to remember to keep that positive spirit and keep our gratitude high and just try to embody that frequency as much as we can as this transition is taking place, because we really are like, nothing is all like concrete and black and white. It's so gradual. So like as we're coming out of integration, we are creating, right? So I'm seeing as I'm coming out of integration, certain things manifest into my life little by little. I'm like, whoa. Like, I'm glad this isn't happening all at once. It would be overwhelming. And so just like be grateful for that part of the journey that you have spirit looking out for you. Like, no, we're going to make sure she's okay, right? Make sure he's okay. And so, that's a beautiful thing. You are always taken care of and stay in that faith and gratitude. I think that's really what the message is. It's just like you broke these contracts. You're restoring yourself and you're embodying the energy to really, what's that word I'm looking for? To bring in this new timeline. That's not the word. There's a better word for it. I can't think of it right now, but to really bring in the new timeline with the best, most grateful energy that you can, and if you do that, I feel like it'll be a more comfortable ride. So if there's any advice that you would take from this reading, is just to be conscious in every moment and intentional in every moment about the energy that you're putting out. So you're able to feel more at peace and with flow as things are coming in to you, because they are coming in, because it's beautiful. And congratulations, because you've done a lot of hard healing work, and it's here, it's here. The opportunities are here. Okay. But all right, guys, I love you so much, and I will see you on the next one.